Train your mind daily. Part 1. The battle begins. Every morning, before the world wakes up, two battles begin. One happens outside. The other happens inside your mind. The outside battle is easy to see. Deadlines. Bills. Problems. Criticism. Disappointment. But the inside battle is invisible. It is the battle between discipline and comfort. Between courage and fear. Between purpose and distraction. Most people lose that battle before they even get out of bed. This is the story of a young man named Adrian. Adrian was ordinary. He lived in a small town where every day looked exactly like the one before. He dreamed of becoming successful. He dreamed of building a life that mattered. But every morning, he woke with excitement, only to lose it before breakfast. His alarm rang. He reached for the snooze button. "I'll start tomorrow," he whispered. Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. And another year quietly disappeared. One evening, Adrian walked through an old park after another disappointing day. The sun was setting. The air was cool. The trees stood perfectly still. On a wooden bench sat an elderly man reading an old book. His face was calm. His posture was straight. His eyes reflected years of wisdom. Adrian sat beside him without speaking. Several minutes passed. Finally, the old man closed the book. "You look tired," he said. "I am," Adrian replied. "I work hard every day." The old man smiled gently. "Your body may work hard. But does your mind?" Adrian looked confused. The old man continued. "Your mind is like a garden. If you neglect it, weeds will grow. Doubt, fear, laziness, excuses. But if you care for it every day, it will produce strength." Those words settled deep inside Adrian. Before leaving, the old man handed him the book. Inside the cover, one sentence was written in bold letters. "Train your mind daily." That night Adrian couldn't sleep. He kept repeating those 4 words. Train your mind daily. The next morning, his alarm rang at 5 o'clock. His body begged for more sleep. His mind searched for excuses. "You deserve another hour. You can begin tomorrow." But this time, Adrian remembered the old man. He sat up. He made his bed. He stepped outside into the cold morning air. It was the smallest victory of his life. But every great journey begins with one small victory. Over the following weeks, Adrian created a routine. He woke before sunrise. He exercised. He read 10 pages from a good book. He spent 10 quiet minutes reflecting on his thoughts. At first, nothing seemed to change. His life looked exactly the same. But inside, something was happening. His patience grew. His focus improved. His confidence became stronger. One afternoon at work, his manager unfairly blamed him for a mistake. Months earlier, Adrian would have reacted with anger. Now he paused. He took a slow breath. He listened carefully. He responded respectfully. For the first time, he realized that training his mind was changing the way he responded to life. Weeks later, Adrian returned to the park. The old man was sitting on the same bench. "I've been doing what you told me," Adrian said. "But my life still isn't perfect." The old man laughed softly. "It never will be. The purpose of training your mind isn't to remove every problem. It is to prepare you for them." Then he pointed toward a nearby blacksmith's workshop. A hammer struck glowing steel again and again. Each powerful blow sent sparks into the air. "What do you see?" the old man asked. "A blacksmith making a sword." The old man nodded. "The steel becomes stronger because it is tested. So does the human mind. If life never challenged you, you would never discover your strength." Those words changed Adrian forever. From that day forward, he stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, he asked, "What is this teaching me?" That single question transformed every obstacle into a lesson. Every setback became training. Every disappointment became practice. Every failure became an opportunity to grow wiser. Months passed. One morning, Adrian noticed something remarkable. The voice that once begged for comfort had become quieter. Discipline was no longer painful. It had become part of who he was. He no longer waited to feel motivated. He acted because his principles demanded it. His friends began noticing the change. "You've become different," one of them said. "You seem calmer. You seem stronger." Adrian smiled. "I didn't change my circumstances. I trained my mind." That night, as he looked at the stars, Adrian understood something the old man had known all along. The strongest people are not born with extraordinary minds. They build them. One thought at a time. One habit at a time. One difficult decision at a time. Every sunrise offers two choices. Train your mind. Or let the world train it for you. Every day you repeat disciplined actions, your character grows stronger. Every day you choose comfort over growth, your potential grows weaker. Your future is shaped long before success arrives. It is shaped in the quiet mornings when no one is watching. It is shaped by the promises you keep to yourself. It is shaped by the thoughts you allow to stay in your mind. So if you want a stronger life, build a stronger mind. Train it with discipline. Train it with patience. Train it with courage. Train it with wisdom. Because the mind you build today will determine the life you live tomorrow. And that is where true greatness begins. This is part 1 of the full series. Part 2 continues Adrian's journey through failure, betrayal, loss, and the greatest test of his stoic discipline, building toward a complete 5,000-word script. Train your mind daily. Part 2: The mind that never gives up. Years had passed since Adrian first met the old man in the quiet park. The words, "Train your mind daily," had become more than a lesson. They had become his way of life. Every sunrise reminded him that the greatest battle was never against the world. It was against the thoughts that tried to convince him to quit. Every morning, Adrian woke before dawn. He sat quietly for a few moments. He looked out the window as darkness slowly gave way to light. Then he asked himself the same question he had asked for years. What kind of man will I choose to be today? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. One winter morning, life delivered another difficult challenge. A severe economic downturn affected many businesses. The company Adrian had spent years building began losing clients. Projects were cancelled. Income dropped. Employees grew anxious. Every meeting seemed filled with fear. Some people blamed the economy. Others blamed competitors. Many believed failure was unavoidable. Adrian listened to everyone. Then he stood up and spoke calmly. We cannot control the economy. We cannot control the decisions of others. But we can control our attitude. We can control our effort. We can control our discipline. His words reminded everyone of something they had forgotten. A strong mind does not waste energy on what cannot be changed. It focuses on what can be done today. The following weeks were difficult. There were long hours. Hard conversations. Tough decisions. Adrian often returned home exhausted. Some nights, doubt whispered in his ear. What if all your work has been for nothing? What if this is the end? Instead of arguing with those thoughts, Adrian opened the old book the philosopher had given him years earlier. The pages were worn from use. Inside, he found the sentence that had guided him through every storm. Train your mind daily. He smiled. Then he closed the book and went back to work the next morning. Step by step. Decision by decision. His team began following his example. Instead of complaining, they searched for solutions. Instead of giving in to fear, they prepared for the future. Slowly, the company recovered. Not overnight. Not without sacrifice. But because disciplined people refused to surrender. Months later, Adrian visited the old park again. The bench where he had first met the philosopher was empty. For a moment, sadness filled his heart. An elderly gardener nearby recognized him. You knew the old man? He asked. Adrian nodded. The gardener smiled gently. He spoke about you often. He said one day you would understand the true meaning of his lesson. The gardener handed Adrian a small wooden box. Inside was a folded letter. With careful hands, Adrian opened it. The old philosopher had written, "If you are reading this, my journey has ended. Do not be sad. Every teacher hopes that one day the student will continue the lesson. Remember this. Your mind is like a blade. If you sharpen it every day, it becomes powerful. If you neglect it, it becomes dull. Never stop sharpening your mind." Tears filled Adrian's eyes. He folded the letter carefully and placed it back inside the box. That evening, he realized something. The greatest gift the old man had given him was not advice. It was a new way of living. Years later, a young man named Samuel came to Adrian seeking help. "I have failed so many times," Samuel admitted. "I don't think I'm strong enough." Adrian smiled kindly. He remembered saying almost the same words years before. Instead of giving a long speech, Adrian invited Samuel on a hike. The trail was steep. The climb was exhausting. Halfway up the mountain, Samuel collapsed onto a rock. "I can't continue," he said. Adrian pointed toward the summit. "You don't have to reach the top right now. You only have to take the next step." Samuel looked confused. "The next step?" Adrian nodded. "Your mind becomes overwhelmed when it tries to carry the entire mountain. But anyone can take one more step." Slowly, Samuel stood. He took one step. Then another. Hours later, they reached the summit. As they looked across the valleys below, Samuel smiled. "I didn't think I could do it," Adrian answered quietly. "You couldn't. Until you trained your mind to believe you could." Samuel never forgot those words. They became the beginning of his own transformation. As the years passed, Adrian realized that true strength is never loud. It does not seek attention. It does not boast. It quietly keeps its promises. It remains steady during hardship. It chooses wisdom over anger. It chooses patience over panic. One evening, Adrian returned to the mountain alone. The sun slowly disappeared beyond the horizon. Golden light filled the sky. He reflected on everything life had taught him. He remembered his fears, his failures, his doubts, his victories. Every experience had strengthened him. Not because life had been easy. Because he had trained his mind to grow through difficulty. He finally understood the deepest lesson of Stoicism. Life will never stop testing you. But if you strengthen your mind every day, each test becomes another opportunity to become wiser. Every obstacle becomes another lesson. Every hardship becomes another chance to build character. As darkness covered the mountain, Adrian whispered one final promise to himself. "I will never stop training my mind." Because he knew that success could come and go. Money could come and go. Comfort could come and go. But a disciplined mind would remain. And a disciplined mind is something no one can take away. So if you are watching this today, remember Adrian's journey. Do not wait for life to become easier. Become mentally stronger. Read every day. Think carefully before reacting. Keep your promises to yourself. Accept responsibility. Choose discipline over comfort. Learn from failure instead of fearing it. Be patient with your progress. Above all, protect your mind. Because your mind shapes your actions. Your actions shape your habits. Your habits shape your character. And your character shapes your destiny. Train your mind every single day. Not for 1 week. Not for 1 month. For a lifetime. Because the strongest people are not those who never face hardship. They are the ones who prepare their minds for it. That is the Stoic path. That is the path of wisdom. And that is the path to a life that no obstacle can easily break.